The 2023 draft is almost here, which can mean only one thing. It is time to pop, lock, and mock it. Today's video is my 1.0 mock for the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm going to be hitting on some of the biggest picks of the first round and what it may mean for your team. Don't forget, if you want in-depth analysis of this mock draft, film review of the college athletes coming out, and tons of more information, hit the join button down below. Become a member today. But for now, in this mock, I'm going to be talking about some of my top needs for each team. Maybe not predictions in this mock draft, but what I think each team could benefit from the most. We're going to kick it off with the first overall pick. Chicago is going to trade back with the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are going to come get Bryce Young, and they are going to give their new head coach the quarterback of the future. The Colts have been playing Russian roulette at the quarterback position since Andrew Luck retired, and they can't afford to do it anymore. Maybe this surprises some of you, but with newly hired defensive-minded DeMeco Ryans, I think the Houston Texans stay put and they take the best defensive player in this draft, Will Anderson Jr. If they really want a quarterback, there might be someone available at 12 that they could jump on, but we'll see how that plays out. Frank Reich is done with instability at the quarterback position, so his new team, the Carolina Panthers, are going to jump up to number 3 and draft Kentucky's Will Levis. I just did a film breakdown on Will Levis for our members. I have some big concerns. I don't think he should be going this high, but it seems like there's some teams, including Carolina, that really like him. My Athletic Greens foundation building pick of this draft is the Raiders coming up to 1.04 and taking CJ Stroud. And since it takes me less time to put together my AG1 drink in the morning than to talk about this pick, I'm gonna do it while I break it down for you. And just like one scoop of AG1 is gonna have a ton of health benefits for me, drafting CJ Stroud will have a ton of benefits for the Raiders, and probably their fans as well. Derek Carr is already out the door, and they're gonna need to replace him with someone in a very competitive AFC West. CJ Stroud is a guy that has all the talent in the world to come in and do it right away. Let's face it, the Las Vegas Raiders need to shake things up anyway. And CJ Stroud is a guy that I believe you're going to be able to trust right off the bat to lead this offense and to compete with the other offenses in the AFC West. If you want to feel and perform at your best like the Headliners crew, then get yourself some AG1 by Athletic Greens. There's a link in the description down below. Use it to head over to their website, order yourself some, and you may even get a free gift on top of it. The Chicago Bears, who moved back twice in this mock, accumulate a ton of picks, and continue to build their team from the ground up, will end up going with offensive tackle here. Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State has played both guard and tackle and could be versatile depending on where Chicago wants to put him. You decided to stay invested in Justin Fields. Now invest in his career and keeping him protected. The Arizona Cardinals go with Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. They need to. JJ Watt is gone, and he was almost half of the pressures and sacks for this defensive line last season. The Philadelphia Eagles at number 10 get a huge gift with Christian Gonzalez, cornerback out of Oregon, falling to them. This fall has nothing to do with Christian Gonzalez himself, but there is so much depth at the cornerback position, I think some teams could skip early on to try and grab some other players where the positions aren't as deep. The Texans skip on quarterback once again and invest in the offensive line over a guy like Anthony Richardson. Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of Georgia. They get strong on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive line in this draft. Give Davis Mills another year, see if he has what it takes, and if he doesn't, the quarterback class next year will be even stronger. New England fans may not agree with this one, but TCU's Quentin Johnson could be a perfect fit for the Patriots. You got rid of defensive coordinator turned offensive coordinator in Matt Patricia, and now you've got Bill O'Brien, who, yeah, he might suck as a head coach and GM, but he knows what he's doing with quarterbacks and play calling. Mac Jones is still still your guy. Give him a year with great weapons, and let's see if he's actually what you think he was when you picked him in the first round. The Lions went with Jalen Carter earlier in the draft because they knew at the back half of the first round, a guy like Joey Porter Jr. was going to be available for him. They get even stronger on the defensive line earlier in the draft, and now they grab Joey Porter Jr. to lock down one of those quarterback positions and hopefully not give up as many yards as they did last year. I could 100% see Anthony Richardson going a lot higher in this draft, especially if he performs like crazy at the combine. But for now, I'm going to have him at number 20, going to probably the best fit possible, Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks could bring back Geno Smith for a year or two, let Anthony Richardson sit and develop behind him, which would be absolutely perfect. And then in a couple of years, they've got their quarterback of the future. The Los Angeles Chargers follow the Cincinnati Bengals Joe Burrow blueprint, and they give Justin Herbert another weapon. I was not a fan of them investing in a third wide receiver last year because of all the talent they had at the position. But if a guy like Jackson Smith-Njigba falls this low, you take him. Keenan Allen isn't getting any younger. Mike Williams isn't getting any more fragile. Get another playmaker and cover all your bases. The Minnesota Vikings couldn't stop anybody last year through the air. They have got to get another cornerback. Keely Ringo out of Georgia is going to be the guy that they need later on. If the New York Giants are serious about bringing Daniel Jones back, the wide receivers at the end of the year did okay, but they need an upgrade. Kayshon Boutte out of LSU is exactly the guy to do that. Unfortunately for Boutte, I think he's getting the A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf treatment. Their offense at Ole Miss their final year didn't really fit their style, so some of their numbers didn't look great. Some of their tape may have seemed a little bit off. I think people are going to try and knock Boutte because of that, and I think somebody is going to get a steal at the end of the first round. The best case for the Dallas Cowboys is somebody offers them a trade to come up to this spot so they can meet a bunch of different needs, because they need help all over. But in this draft, because they messed up the Amari Cooper trade last year, and because Michael Gallup hasn't been what they hoped to be, they end up going with another game-changing wide receiver. Rashee Rice out of SMU might be the best wide receiver in this draft you haven't heard of. The Cincinnati Bengals invest in Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer. Why? Because you're killing two birds with one stone. Mayer is a great offensive weapon, but people don't talk about his blocking ability enough. This is another weapon for Joe Burrow. Hayden Hurst is on an expiring contract, and it's like drafting another offensive lineman. This guy can block with the best of them. The Los Angeles Rams are going to trade up into the first round with New Orleans to grab the best center in the draft, John Michael Schmitz. Their current center, Brian Allen, can be cut and save $5 million on the payroll, which the Los Angeles Rams are going to need. JMS could be an absolute game changer on the offensive line for them and help protect Matthew Stafford. At the end of the first round, there's several ways the Philadelphia Eagles could go. I'm going to have a little fun here, though. I say they don't re-sign Miles Sanders and they draft Bijan Robinson out of Texas. Bijan Robinson might be one of the best players in this draft, but teams just don't value running backs the way that they used to. I think solely because of that, we see Robinson start to slip into the back half of the first round. And the Eagles will get an absolute gift right here, because just think about it. Add Robinson to that offense and it becomes absolutely game-changing and ridiculous to even try and cover. Yo, hit that like button for me. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought about your team's pick. Don't forget, we get way more in-depth with not only the mock drafts, but rookie film review for members here on the channel. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.